guys, this is Cheyenne, and I wanted to discuss COVID-19, aka the coronavirus, aka COVID-19. Um, Everything has flipped around, and our worlds have been completely turned upside down in such a short amount of time. Within a few weeks, everything's on lockdown, food is being rationed, people are ordered to stay home unless for strictly essential purposes, such as going to the store, going to a doctor's appointment, going to work if you're an essential employee. People are out of jobs right now because so many businesses are closing down from this and thousands of people are dying. But my hunch, when I look at the bigger picture, tells me that there's something more going on. And I have some theories about this. And let's go ahead and go into these theories, and then we can kind of look at this from a bigger picture. So we are in a pandemic right now. One of the theories that I have for this pandemic is that this is a form of population control to preserve the Earth. Scientists have been saying for many years that the Earth is disintegrating because of the environmental stressors that we humans are putting on it. And the powers that be, let's just strictly hypothesize and theorize. This is all that the video is about. And we have the right to free speech, and we have the right to theorize. And this is what we are doing right now. This is not to harm people, but to possibly inform them of my theories. Okay? Let me put that disclaimer out there. Anyways, so let's say that the world is disintegrating and eventually it won't be livable. Okay? Then, not that I would agree or promote this idea, but wouldn't it make sense if the powers that be decided to do a form of population control through the use of this virus? They say that this virus came from Wuhan, China, and it's quite possible that it did. But with the way that things are going, this is making me think that it's either a form of population control or it goes into martial law. And I know that these ideas sound way out there, but when you look at these pieces put together, it makes more sense. I have my pen because I'm looking down at my notes. So, population control in the idea to preserve the Earth in the long run. That's a possible idea, a possible theory with how things are going. You know, and it's sad, but it would make sense with how things are going. It could be a form of chemical warfare. Again, that kind of overlaps with the idea of population control. And then, like I said, why would I think that we would need population control? Or why would the powers that be want a form of population control? But now let's take it a step further, and let's look at martial law. Martial law is the idea that a lot of conspiracy theorists like myself have, which is the government taking over. And that is, if the S hits the fan, the government can shut everything down instantly and take over. What's happened in the last few weeks? Businesses have closed down. Countless people have gotten out of work. We're on a shutdown. The streets are empty. People aren't allowed to leave their homes. Cops can pull you over and ask where you're going, and companies are giving their employees badges to show that they're an essential employee. Within a few weeks, something is going on. And my hunch is that it's going to keep going and going. And I'm going to make a whole other video on my predictions because I feel that this needs to be addressed. That things are changing so rapidly and going on a downhill slope that people need to be aware of the possible outcomes and the possible realities that we might be living in. So, martial law, the idea that the government takes over and closes everything down. We'll look at our rights. Our rights have been stripped from us, essentially, or they're beginning to be when we are on order to not leave our home except for essential purposes. And what goes into that idea also is the idea of FEMA camps. I don't know for sure, but a lot of conspiracy theorists have stated that they believe FEMA camps are a form to prepare for martial law. That they have these camps set up for that if the government needed to shut things down, they could put people, possibly as a form of population control, into these camps. Now this is where it gets it's out there, but I still want to state it. I still want to state this theory because it can hold merit. So a couple of years ago, 5 Walmarts closed for 6 months for plumbing reasons. And people on YouTube, including sources of the state newspaper and Faith and End Times News, not that I'm a Christian, but they have posted information about this, is that these Walmarts were closed down, and it's been recorded. Sorry about that, my camera died. People have been saying that when they had the Walmarts near them closed down for 6 months due to plumbing reasons, that they heard these loud booming noises from underground. And it is theorized that underground there are these like railways that are used for military purposes, and that these Walmarts were actually closed down to set up for a possible FEMA-like situation if the government needed to contain people in a large area. And I know that that sounds really far out there, but since this does go under the umbrella of conspiracy theories, I felt like I should list it also. I don't necessarily 100% agree with that, but that's something that we should consider. Now, with the martial law goes into play with the New World Order. And the New World Order is the idea of one universal government that controls its citizens. And how would they go ahead and do that? By locking things down and containing people. Yes, I believe there is a virus. And yes, I believe thousands of people are dying, and it's a heartbreaker. It really is.